You know that person who cries at a commercial? Who feels the energy of a room the second they walk in? Who can't watch the news without carrying it for days? Who absorbs other people's moods like they have no skin between them and the world? Yeah, that's not weakness. That's a nervous system wired completely differently from most people's. Here's what nobody tells you about people who feel everything too deeply. They're not oversensitive. They're not dramatic. They're not too much. They are operating with what researchers call high sensory processing sensitivity, a trait found in roughly 15 to 20% of the population, studied extensively by psychologist Elaine Aron since the 1990s. Their brain literally processes everything more deeply. Sounds, emotions, textures, atmospheres, other people's pain. It all goes in further and stays longer. Not because they choose it, because that's how they're built. And here's where it gets complicated. They feel joy more intensely too. A perfect morning, a song that lands exactly right, a genuine moment of connection. These things don't just feel good to them, they feel enormous, like the world briefly made complete sense. But the other side of that coin is real. The lows hit just as hard as the highs lift. Criticism doesn't sting, it echoes. Conflict doesn't pass, it lingers for days in their body like something physical. They replay conversations, not because they're paranoid, because their brain is still processing, still looking for the thing they missed, still trying to understand what was really meant, what was really felt, what really happened underneath the words. This is what psychologists call depth of processing, and it's exhausting in a way that's almost impossible to explain to someone who doesn't experience it. Imagine every single input arriving at full volume, every interaction, every atmosphere, every unspoken tension in a room, processed completely, thoroughly, deeply, all day, every day. No wonder they need time alone to recover.
But here's something that surprises people. Deep feelers are not fragile. They are actually incredibly resilient, just in a specific way. They've been feeling things at full intensity their entire lives. They've survived every wave. They know how to hold pain without being destroyed by it, because they've had a lot of practice. What breaks them isn't feeling too much. It's being told they shouldn't. Every, "you're overreacting." Every, "why do you take everything so personally?" Every, "it's not a big deal." Those words don't just dismiss a reaction, they dismiss an entire way of existing. And over time, deep feelers learn to shrink, to apologize for their sensitivity, to perform a version of themselves that feels less, reacts less, needs less. And that performance costs everything. Because here's the painful irony. The very thing that makes them exhausting to some people is what makes them extraordinary to others. They are the friends who actually listen, the ones who notice when something is off before you've said a word, the ones whose empathy isn't a skill, it's a reflex. They don't choose to care deeply. They literally cannot choose otherwise.
Their sensitivity is the same source as their creativity, their intuition, their capacity for profound connection. You cannot remove one without losing the other. It's the same river. And yet they spend so much of their life managing it, dimming it, trying to be easier for a world that wasn't built for people who feel at full volume. There's a grief in that. The grief of constantly editing yourself, of leaving conversations wondering if you were too much, of feeling something beautiful and immediately bracing for the moment it ends, of loving people so fully that losing them doesn't just hurt. It reorganizes your entire interior world. They don't just miss people. They miss the specific feeling of being around them. The way certain people make the world quieter. The way certain conversations feel like coming home. And when that's gone, whether through distance, conflict, or loss, they don't just move on. They process. Deeply. Completely. The way they do everything. Here's what they need to hear and almost never do. The depth is not the problem. The depth is the point. A world full of people who feel nothing deeply would be a colder, flatter emptier place. The art, the empathy, the moments of genuine human connection that make life worth living, those come from people like this. They don't need to feel less. They need to find the spaces and the people where feeling everything is finally understood as the gift it